Hello friends, it's Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner. It is Friday, November 27th, and I am here for my last kind of update until, because I'm going to be doing Vlogmas. It's not until. I'm going to be doing Vlogmas, and I'm actually planning on starting today, which I know is 4 days early. I'm probably going to call it like pre-Vlogmas day 1. There's only 4 days before December, but because of one of the advents that I am doing, the advent socks where you knit a color stripe every day, because I have wide feet, I need to do more than just the 24 stripes, which means I need to start early and also go late. I will also be doing 12 days past Christmas, but hopefully that will complete me for the socks. But anyways, so because of that, I'm starting Vlogmas early, and also I just feel like I know I need some Christmas cheer, and I am sure that there are others out there who need it as well. So I will be not editing this video. This video will be going up unedited, and I will then immediately begin starting Vlogmas. I won't be starting all of my advents today. I will only be starting the yarn one, and then also the random picking of a Christmas whip to work on. I have them all written down on little papers. I have enough to do the 4 days before December, all the way up through Christmas, and then the 12 days after Christmas. And I only had to put in like 2 or 3 new starts. One of the new starts I may end up swapping out for a another new pattern. That is the Christmas wreath by Frosted Pumpkin. I bought it and I pulled from stash some fabric for it, and I want to start it immediately. I might just start it and not even have it count as one of my Christmas whips. But I am hoping to stay caught up with this particular SAL. It seems small enough to be able to stay caught up. So that is what is happening with that. I did want to give a quick update about my mom's visit. So last I spoke to you guys, everything was up in the air. The day before she came here, she found out that her dependency visa had been approved, and that meant that she was able to go back to Singapore. They still had to talk to another department about the dates she had to come, and then she had to get tested for COVID within 72 hours of her arriving in Singapore. She had to get tested 72 hours before that. So, like, because the flight itself is a day, she had to get tested 48 hours before she left. But anyway, so all said and done, my mom was actually only with me for 4 or 5 days, which really sucked and was sad for me, because I was obviously really looking forward to my mom being here and getting to do things with her, and just that sort of thing. But we did have a really good 5 days. We did do a lot of crafting. We watched a ton of Christmas themed holiday baking shows. So we watched a 4-part gingerbread construction competition. We watched the Great British Baking Show. Well, we did watch part of one season, but she had to leave before we could finish it. But then we also watched the holiday episodes. There were a couple others, but I don't remember. It was a lot of fun. And one day we also marathoned all 3 editions or versions of Emma. And our rankings are the mini-series. The 4-episode mini-series is our favorite edition. We really like that one. Then we like the new one that just came out this year or last year. I don't remember. That was my first time seeing it, and I did really enjoy it. It was very pretty to watch. Not the most necessarily accurate, but I did really enjoy it. And then our third favorite is the one with Gwyneth Paltrow. And I think my mom thought that the Gwyneth Paltrow was her second, and then the 3-part was her third favorite. I think that's what she told me before we did our marathon. But then we did the marathon, and she changed her rankings and agreed with me. So I'm in a Facebook group dedicated to Pride and Prejudice and Jane Austen, and they're always talking about which edition of Pride and Prejudice is the best one, and obviously it's the 95 Colin Firth one. But there was just another debate came up about it again, and yeah. I won't offend my viewers who like the 2005 Keira Knightley version, but it's basically unwatchable to me. And that is because, first of all, the Bennets were not poor. They were, probably you would classify them lower upper class. They made $2,000 a year based off the father's estates. So Mr. Bingley made $5,000, so basically double. And then Mr. Darcy made $10,000, so 5 times as much. And so how I view this is basically, if you have a $2 million house, you have a nice house. It's a nice house. You know, better than what we have. I mean, by a long shot. However, if you have a $10 million house, that one is even nicer. That doesn't mean the $2 million house is shabby. Doesn't mean there's pigs running through it, because there won't be. So the pigs in the house obviously really bothered me in the 2005 Keira Knightley version. In addition, the fact that the final proposal, if I'm remembering correctly, because I've only been able to force myself to watch it once or twice, in the final proposal, she's wandering outside in her nightgown. I'm sorry, but no. That would never happen in those times. Never, never. And I cannot look past those things. I love history, and I love accuracy to history, and so I just can't get past that. So I cannot watch that version at all. My aunt loves it, and we literally debate this basically every time we talk. But as for me, my mom, my sisters, the 95 Colin Firth edition will always be supreme. And I can't believe I just went on that ramble for like 5 minutes. Ugh, I love Pride and Prejudice. I love Jane Austen. But we were talking about Emma, which I also love. Emma is great. Basically every version of Emma is spectacular. So, we did that. My mom made some Christmas masks. She made me this one. I picked out the fabrics. But isn't this so pretty? So, even with lipstick, my lips don't touch the mask. So, I'm gonna miss being able to get more masks from her. Not that I really go out into public. I don't, but she is very talented, and making things like that isn't something I really know how to do or particularly care to learn how to do, to be honest. It's not my thing. I enjoy quilting, not garment making. I wish I did, because I've seen some nice homemade things. I could get things that I like, but it just doesn't really interest me. And so I have enough hobbies. I do not need to pick up another one. So that's that. So, okay, so last I talked to you guys, I was going to let my mom pick what project that I worked on while she was here. I honestly thought that she would pick Serengeti or the Afghan, but she didn't. She chose instead for me to work on an ornament. Back before we knew she would be leaving sooner than expected, I thought I could maybe get this done, but I couldn't. I did make some really good progress. I think about 1200, 1300, something around there. And this is on Gloria in the Mill Hill Nativity Trilogy. I think it looks much better in person. So here is where I got to. I'll put the box behind it. That's what I got to. And basically, once we found out the date she was leaving, she left here within a day or two, and I stopped working on it and focusing on it because I just wanted to spend more time with her, and I knew I wouldn't be able to finish it. So that is why I got to where I got. I am hoping to make some more progress and to actually finish this up. I don't want it languishing for a long time. Hang on. I was talking to my mom, and she said that I mentioned in like all my videos that I don't know why I'm yawning. And she thinks that it's because I talk too much, and so I get a little bit oxygen deprived, which is definitely possible. I have asthma, so me and oxygen are not great friends to begin with. But she said that I need to be conscious about actually drinking the drinks I bring up here while filming, and that should help me get more oxygen into my body and not yawn so much. So, Mom, I have my tea and I'm taking a sip. This is, excuse the lipstick, but this is one of my favorite mugs. However, it's starting to get some cracks in it. They're not really showing, but it might be on its final legs. I have another cross stitch that I have been working on. I've done about 1,000 stitches on it. However, I cannot share it at this moment because it is hopefully a secret present for someone who I know for a fact watches my channel. I don't normally, I'm not normally successful when it comes to secret projects, but I'm really trying this time. So when I finish it, I will film a little video clip and I will insert it into an update video. But until it's been gifted, I don't want to post it here. So I will talk about that later. Hang on. I've got a list that I'm working on or working off. So I want to check things off as I do them so that it doesn't, I tend to lose track of things. So, okay, that's all there is for cross stitch. I will be moving on now to knitting. I do have a little bit about cross stitch plans in a little bit. The first, actually it's crochet. I have a finish, and that is the hat for my husband. I would have had this done on his birthday. However, after I'd done the ribbing, I realized it wasn't going to fit his head. So it actually ended right here plus ribbing. So I went and I pulled out all of the ribbing that I had done and added an additional 2 repeats and then had to redo the ribbing. So I finished it the day after his birthday. But this is his hat and I am super proud of it. It was a really pretty easy pattern. So I am very happy. And I have a lot of this yarn left. So I'll either make him a scarf or I will make me a matching hat. I haven't decided what yet. I'm not really a hat person, but it might be nice to have matching hats. So that is my finish. And I'm going to cross that off. Next, we have something I was working on tonight. Well, we had game night as a family. And that is my yarn cozy, which should be done already, but isn't. I am hoping to finish this today. I would like to finish it and then basically immediately start using it for a project that I will talk about in a moment. But I have about 11 rounds left that I need to do, and then the bind off. So this is where it was at last time I showed you guys, so not much progress, but I would really like to finish this. So that is my yarn cozy. I'm using leftover Slytherin self-striping yarn that I made a pair of socks out of that I'm actually wearing right now. And so making this out of that. And the pattern is called Yarn Cozy Light by Nitty Natty. So I keep it in here because then I can put the ball of yarn into the cup and it won't roll away. Next I will show my mom's socks that I worked on. I also thought maybe she would choose these, but she didn't. However, I did make some nice progress. I didn't put a progress keeper on here to show you guys where I was at last time I worked on this, but I made it through the whole leg. She loves it, and so do I. I am definitely going to make this pattern again for myself. And I'm also probably going to buy this yarn again if it's still being dyed by the dyer. This is what it looks in just plain knit stitch. I just think that's so beautiful, and with the patterning. So I finished the leg. I did the heel flap and gusset, and now I'm doing decreases. I think I have about 4 more decreases to go, so 8 more rounds, and then I'll be done, I think. So I am pretty happy with that. But it is being put aside for a little while as I do all the stuff I'm gonna do for Vlogmas. I've looked at all of my own plans. I'll talk about that in the next section. It's definitely overly ambitious. Not everything will be done, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. So, I will hopefully pull this out again in January and maybe get those finished up. But I don't know when I'm going to see my mom again. But I would like to have them done. The next thing I will share is my Advent socks. So my goal was to have the cuffs completed by Thanksgiving, or the day of Thanksgiving, and I managed to do that. I have them both on a 40-inch cable for magic loop. There's slight modeling in the yarn color, and I think that's so pretty. So I have these ready to put the first color on. I have them wound into cakes down here at the bottom of my bag. This is the bag that I made. It's the first bag I made ever. So I'm really proud of it. I mean, knitting bag. I, of course, made some cross-stitch bags, project bags. So I finished those cuffs. I'm a little bit worried about having enough of the yarn for the heels, the the cuffs, heels, and then toes. I am going to still use it anyways for the cuffs. Note the heels. And then I'll weigh it and see how much is left and make a kind of decision based off that. But here is where we are at. I think I used 6 grams, which leaves me with 14 left. So it's cutting in a little close. We will see. For that, I will be using the heel toe do-si-do pattern from Kay Liddon. She's the crazy sock lady. The reason for this is that this is very nice on self-striping yarn. I have one single sock out of this in my Halloween socks because I still haven't finished the other one. However, I have on my Slytherin socks right now, and it's plain vanilla knit, and it's a little loose on me. And I am thinking part of the reason that might be is because plain vanilla doesn't have enough of a pattern to cinch it up a little bit and decrease the size a tiny bit. And so therefore it's too loose. I might try one time to do a 64 stitch cast on instead of the 72, which is what I need to use. That's the large sizes. You cast on 72 stitches. The medium is, which is what most people are, is 64 stitches. And then there is a 56, I think is the next one. And that's the small size, but I definitely can't fit that. I thought maybe I could potentially be a 64, but I think I'm right on the verge. I tried to fit my mom's, just the part of the leg that's already done. I tried to put that on my foot, and it wasn't happening. So if this doesn't work to confirm my theory, my next one is I'm going to try going up a needle size and seeing if that will work to fit better. I would prefer if that isn't actually the solution, because then I would need to buy more needles. And I already have so many that's in size 1. And I don't want to have to buy a ton in size 2. So, and I also have a lot of socks started in the size 1 needles. So hopefully it's just a matter of I need pattern. And that maybe if it's just plain vanilla, well, I don't, it might be because ribbing is tighter that 64 stitches just won't ever work for getting it over. What I might try to have to figure out is doing 72 for the leg. I mean, sorry, 72 for the rib, and then decrease down to 64. I might give that a shot one time. I just always hate to think about wasting yarn on socks that aren't going to fit me. But, I mean, I have siblings I could always gift to, so. But, so that is why I chose the heel toe do-si-do. It is a 2-round repeat that will be easy to memorize, easy to know when I'm stopping on a pattern, because I'm only knitting as much as that day's color to the end of the row, whether it's just the front row or the back row. So I wanted something I could easily remember where I was in the pattern, and this is that pattern for me. So I am looking forward to working on those, and I will be doing that first thing when I wake up. I will go get a cup of tea. I'm thinking once Advent officially starts, I will do my tea of the month and drink that while knitting that stripe of the day, and probably listening to the scriptures, because I am behind on scripture study with my mom, but it's okay. So I'm thinking that I will combine all 3 of those activities because it's brainless knitting, so I can listen and still be knitting and enjoying a nice cup of tea. So I think that'll be a nice start to the morning this season. So that is my Advent socks update. And the final update I have in terms of work in progresses is last year I bought this book, 55 Christmas Balls, and it has a bunch of different baubles and like ornaments. And this is from Arne and Carlos. I watch their YouTube channel on and off because I go on and off YouTube. But they're a delight and I really recommend them. Their videos are so good. But so they do their patterns for DPNs, and DPNs are seriously the death of me. So I tried one last year. I bought this book and I bought some yarn to try it, and it was just a confused mess. Then they announced in a video that this year they are doing a 24 Christmas ball advent calendar, and I'm addicted to advent calendars. I acknowledge that. I think I've got 10 or 11 of various kinds, which is ridiculous. I acknowledge I'm not going to get through all of the things I want to get through, but that's okay. That's okay. But so, yeah, I signed up for it. Arne and Carlos Christmas Advent Calendars. If you don't want a spoiler, the PDF, it was $8, and it comes with all 24 of them. So, this is what they look like. And I just think those are so cute. I love this one here. This little gingerbread man here. This heart one. They're just fantastic. There's a little ballerina over here. Problem is, I don't have green yarn. And I'm not really wanting to go out and buy new stuff. If we happen to go to the craft store, I might try to find some green. But again, I've only been to a craft store once since COVID started. And even before that, it was months since I had gone. That's the one good thing about having a huge stash, is you rarely have to go. But I don't have green, so a few days will probably get a miss to return to later. And the other thing I did was I ordered a new knitting needle to try this with, and that is, I'm going to be doing it magic loop. So I decided in preparation for that yesterday, I needed to cast on one from the book and try it on magic loop. Now, this would drive me insane if I tried to do it the whole season. The cable is clunky, it's very stiff, and these are wooden needles, which are fine for some things, but I don't think they're fine for magic loop. Pushing the yarn onto the cable is a chore. Onto the needle every time is basically, it's a chore. And very unpleasant. But I decided to start one because I've never done color work before. I did not succeed at all in the Christmas balls last year. So I really just needed to practice before I decided that I really wanted to do this. And this is where I got to yesterday. I had to stop because I needed to make dinner. And then I took a nap. There are a couple mistakes, but I think that it's going to be okay. Like for some reason, both legs aren't showing up in some places. It's probably the method I did of increasing stitches or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trusting that it's going to sort itself out. I put a stitch marker where the needles should be separated. So everything over here should be one needle and everything over here should be another needle. And so that's helping me keep everything organized. This is also the first time I'm knitting using a chart. I have always strictly knit by directions. I've never done a chart before. And there's my strands, my floats. And I am just honestly super kind of impressed and proud of myself about how this is going. This is another project I am hoping to finish tomorrow, in part because I am doing the pigskin thing still, and so I need to finish this so that I can claim the points for this project, and also so I can put this progress creeper on my advent socks, because if you use a progress keeper from one of the sponsored people, then you get to add extra bonus points, and this is from a sponsor, so I want to put that on my advent socks. However, my advent stitch marker advent calendar is also from a sponsor, so when I open the first day, I can easily put that on. So I mean, it's not like a huge, if I don't finish it, it's the end of the world, but I am, I think 22 rounds away from being done with this first one, and I am just so happy. I'm really so happy. So I don't have a ton more of this yarn. I do have some, I think it's the same weight and everything, but with sparkles, which will be super awesome, right? And this is also one of those things that you can kind of mix up the colors a little bit. So I also have blue and red and I think gray. So I am really looking forward to that. I don't think there's any way that I can stay caught up on that advent, and it's not my main priority of an advent. So as I have time, as the one of the day really strikes my fancy, I will be doing that. The needles, according to Amazon, should be arriving on December 1st. So we will see what happens, but I am so excited. I am hoping that maybe next year, but maybe not, I might have enough homemade kind of decorations, Christmas decorations, that we can put up my fake tree and just decorate it with the homemade stuff and some lights. I think that would be so awesome. Chances are I would probably put it over in that corner. It would be blocking one of my cabinets, but it's just for a month, and if I take down everything I need off that cabinet, it shouldn't be a big deal. But I think it would be so fun to have a tree decorated with things that I've made. But again, I do not have even close to enough ornaments for that. So it's just like future plans of what I'd really like. So that's why I really want to be doing some Christmas balls, which also brings me, so that was the last whip, but that also brings me to another thing I signed up for, and that is 24 days of Christmas sock ornaments. Now these are mini socks. It says each sock will measure about 4.25 inches tall and 2 inches across. It does call for a size 1.5 or 2 millimeter needle. I will actually be using a size 1. That's what I have on hand. I don't have a size 2 or a size 1.5. I don't think that that's enough of a difference to really matter, and a slightly smaller ornament would probably be better, frankly. So I am hoping to be able, does it actually, wait, hang on, sorry. Each sock will use 5 to 10 grams, about 25 to 50 yards of fingering weight yarn. so it's perfect for scraps or mini skeins. What I am intending, well, I have a couple different intentions or ideas regarding this. I do have a few minis, but not many, because like I saw a mini set that I was considering buying from my favorite dyer, and it's 5 100-gram minis. Now she lives in Canada, so the minis were about $25, maybe slightly more. Maybe it was 28. I don't remember, to be honest. But it was basically the cost of a full skein, which I understand, because it is the equivalent of a full skein. So it would make sense that it would cost the same. However, she lives in Canada. The shipping is over $10. And I just don't use mini skeins like I use full skeins. There aren't as many projects for them. Yes, I know I have a large collection of full skeins, so I don't actually need more full skeins. But there's just so many more projects you can do with full skeins, so I don't really buy minis unless I have a specific project in plan. Some of my skeins come with minis, and I don't always think that the mini fits that particular project, so I might raid some of those and use some of those for these ornaments. I do have a Harry Potter Advent from last year that I did 3 colors on, and I'm not completely satisfied with how it looks. So I may frog that project and do this Advent using those mini skeins. They are 10 gram mini skeins, which is what these basically call for, so I might do that. I also might just take small amounts from some full skeins. If the mood fits, I might do that. Of course, I'll look at the scraps I already have, and then the Advent calendar I have for this year. I only have one 24-day one, but if it has scraps that are in this amount, I can make socks out of those too. So those are the areas I'm looking to pull scraps from for these. But so this would be 24 more ornaments to be able to add to that tree that I'm hoping to be able to do next year or the year after. She has another one from a previous year that is also 24 socks, and then she has one from last year's, I believe, that is 24 like little outfits. So there's some socks, there's some hats, there's some sweaters. They're super cute. I am not at the level where I'm comfortable making garments. I haven't even made a sweater for myself, so I'm not sure I'm there yet to make them in miniature version, but one day I hope to be able to do that particular Advent, or whatever you want to call it. So more things to cross off of my list that I talked about. Christmas ball. Oh, okay, apparently I already crossed it off. But so anyways, so this video is going way longer than I expected because I'm a chatterbox. So I mentioned in my last video that I basically decided I'm not gift crafting for anyone. I do have 2, maybe 3 exceptions for that. The Secret Cross Stitch project that I am not showing yet. And then the other one that I'm doing is socks for my husband. It's a little hard to gift when you're not working at the moment, and so I decided I would make him a pair of socks. He's asked me several times for a pair of socks, and so it is a major goal for me during this season now, the next 3 or 4 weeks, to make a pair of socks for him. I've never knit a pair of socks in a month. I have a ton of other things I'm trying to do. However, these socks are a priority. I am breaking them down into goals, like number of rows per day, and that is going to be a major priority every day to hit that goal, because I need to do these. I have one other idea about what I'm going to order as a Christmas present, but because I'm not working, it kind of feels like him paying for his own Christmas present, and so I want to be able to do something that is from the heart, and he likes my handmade things. The cross stitch I made for him several years ago, he told me just the other day, like out of the blue, because I was taking pictures down to wrap them, and put a bow on them. I wrap them with wrapping paper and put a bow on them, and it's just a cheap and fun way to easily decorate the house without spending a lot of money on decorations or having to do a lot, put other holes in the wall or whatever. I don't know, because I don't have a ton of decorations. But so I was gonna take that cross stitch down to wrap it as a present and put it back up, and he asked me not to. He said that was his favorite present he's received from me, and it's one of his favorite presents he's ever gotten. And that meant a lot for me, because I'm not always sure that he really loves my handmade presents, even though he specifically asked for certain things. Like, he keeps wanting a little something to put on the gear shifter in his car, and I have no clue what to do. If anyone has an idea, because he's asked me like 10 times, and I just don't know what to do. So he's asked me for specific things. So I do think he really is knit worthy or cross stitch worthy or whatever, gift worthy, whatever we call it. And so making him socks is my top holiday priority. He knows that that's what he's gonna get, because I mean, it's just the two of us in the house all the time. I mean, he comes up to my craft room all the time, and to talk or whatever, so it's really hard to create something without him knowing about it. So he knows. He picked the yarn color, and so it's another pattern by Kay Liddon, and it's called Socks for Dad. This one is also a 2-row repeat, but it seems a little more complicated. This is the yarn he chose. It is purple. It is called Lavender Dusk, and it is a yarn bee. So I will be casting these on today. I'm not doing 2 at a time. I'm doing 1 at a time. So my goal for today is to finish the cuff. So you will see that in my Vlogmas day 1, or pre-Vlogmas day 1. So I can cross that off. So the next 2 things, I put these down under whips, but they're not really whips, is that I made my sister Alex a Scooby-Doo cross stitch and turned it into a pillow for her birthday. And unfortunately, in the stress of traveling, it got misplaced in the airport, and so I need to make it again. And it's not a big deal. My mom called me and she was very upset about this, but Mom, if you're watching, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal for me to make it again. It's a small project. It took me less than a week to do it, and so that is another thing I need to do, and I want to start it soon so that I can just get it out of the way. I will need to buy another pillow form for it, but that's fine because they're relatively cheap. And I need to start this soon because the fabric I want to use is the same fabric as my mystery project, and it will be easier to do this one while the other one is still connected, because otherwise it won't really fit the Q-snap, because they're only like less than 30 stitches high. So it's easier to do it while the fabric is still connected. And so I need to finish both of those before Christmas and be able to finish the mystery project, at least like FFO it. Yeah, I'll be doing that Scooby-Doo one again and probably working on it during Vlogmas. I won't really be able to show it though because it will be sharing fabric. So that is the update on Scooby-Doo. Next, I don't remember if I talked about, I think I did. Yeah, I did. This is the Christmas wreath by Frosted Pumpkin. And see, this is part 1. And it's small. Like, it's not a lot of stitching. Easily manageable. And then this is, what, 10 more parts, I think? So each chunk is going to be small. And it goes until August of next year. So, I want to stay caught up, which means I need to do this whole part before, just before Christmas when part 2 comes out. I found this tea coffee dyed fabric in my stash. The only reason there's a pin here is because I had planned it for another project, Lady of the Flag, in a different colorway. But I am far away from doing Lady of the Flag in the first colorway that I'm doing it. So I figure I can tea coffee dye again another fabric for the second version of Lady of the Flag. So I will sacrifice this one for this. It doesn't need the full length. So another little kind of advent calendar I am planning on doing is the 2020 Stitchmas Stitch Along. This is from Amanda from Creatively Crafting, because I am a founding member of is it Creatively Crafting or Stitchies? Something like that. I get the patterns for free. And I didn't do last year's and I didn't do the Halloween one. But when this came through in my mailbox, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So they're supposedly fairly small chunks, hopefully. And so I'm just going to try to do this, try to stay caught up, and I will be using the remaining portion of this fabric to do that. I need to double check that I've calculated properly and that both fabrics will fit off of this. But that is my plans for a Christmas wreath. And I talked about this, so let's move this out of the way as well. Okay, so the next section of this that I'm going to talk about is Vlogmas. I've mentioned it several times, so I know I've covered several of these already. I have gone through and listed all of my advent calendars down here, and it is a list. So, my husband bought me a Bon Moment jam advent calendar. They are 1 ounce tiny little containers. Sometimes they're in hotels. These are limited edition flavors for the most part, or it's mixed with regular ones, I guess. And I am so super excited about this advent calendar. I have restarted to make sourdough bread, and I am loving it. I'm loving the process. It's really just, I used to make sourdough bread, and I had a starter that I let die. That starter's name was Martha, and it was basically like murder. I like murdered Martha. I starved her to death. So Martha 2.0 is doing well and thriving. I started her about 3 weeks ago, maybe. And since then, I've made 3 or 4 loaves, and they just keep getting better. My mom also has a sourdough starter in Singapore. We're pretty sure my sister Alex probably killed it. She was supposed to be maintaining it. But, so my mom bought for herself a proofing basket and then a Dutch oven. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to fit those. She did fit a couple proofing baskets, but not one of them. Oh, she accidentally ordered 2 of the same proofing baskets, which is how I got one of them. And she was also not able to fit the Dutch oven into her luggage, which meant she gave it to me. She just I didn't ask for it. She literally, when I got to my grandpa's house, because she went down a day before my husband and I went down to help her pack and spend one more day with her. So she just gave it to me, and I was so excited because I'd mentioned that I kind of wanted a Dutch oven because almost all the recipes recommend it. It helps because you can steam the bread while it's cooking at first, and it's just supposed to come out a lot better. So I used it for my last loaf, and it was amazing. But anyways, so I intend to have sourdough bread with the jam every day. One of the days during Vlogmas, I will take you guys through the whole process of making a loaf of sourdough bread. I anticipate probably needing to make a loaf about 2 times a week for the Advents. So there will be plenty of opportunities to show you guys the sourdough bread making process. But anyways, so that's one of the Advents, and I have it downstairs. I have a tea Advent from Plum Deluxe. I had that Advent from them last year. It was a real mixed bag review for me. I was disappointed in a lot of the flavors. I mainly just drink herbal tea. And there were a lot of green teas and black teas, and also a lot of dessert teas, and I don't really enjoy dessert teas. However, I did discover my very absolute favorite tea through the Advent calendar. Blood Orange Reflection Tea. It's exclusive to them, and it's only during this season that it's available. So, I ordered it again in the hopes of discovering a new favorite tea. And I mean, there was plenty of good flavors, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, so I don't anticipate every day being a winner. However, I will share the journey with you guys nonetheless. My next Advent is a Lindt chocolate one. I only have one chocolate one, so, but those are my food Advents. I also have a needle minder one that I mentioned. I got that with like a 30% off coupon. I have a Tudor 24-day Advent, and that will be my primary Advent. I am still waiting for my mohair to arrive, and according to the USPS website, it will arrive on December 1st, which is cutting it awfully close. But that's okay. It is what it is. I still need to make a project bag for that. I have the socks, and I'm going to take a sip. Then there's also the sock ornaments, the Christmas balls, the Stitchmas. Oh yeah, and the bakery bears, which I think is going to be a cowl, but I don't know yet. I haven't wound them yet. I'm trying to decide if I want to wind them all beforehand, but I might wait for the first day's clue and see if there's more instructions. like, are we only using one color and then we're not going to use that color again? In which case, I will wind as I go. Or are they all going to be kind of intermingled? In which case, I will wind them all beforehand. So, they are having a Patreon-only pop-up video on Sunday. And I believe they're going to give a little bit more information about the Advent calendar. So, I will watch that, and hopefully that will give me a clue. But yeah, so that is the last of my Advent calendars. I am also doing randomly drawing the Christmas project and working for an hour on that, the cross-stitch Christmas project. So, some other things that I am hoping to be able to feature on Vlogmas are buying a real Christmas tree, decorating it, going out and looking for Christmas lights. There are some streets that decorate really beautifully, and so I'm hoping my husband and I can get like a hot chocolate or an apple cider and drive around in the car, and then I'll be able to share some of that with you guys. There will also be family game nights that I'll just film short little segments of, and family movie nights that I will just like a couple seconds on the screen, and that's all. Just to share with you guys what we're doing, what we're watching, what we're eating, or what not. For example, tonight my mom and I might watch Sugar Rush. Oh, that's one of the other holiday shows that we were watching, Sugar Rush Holiday. Well, they've come back with another season, and I told my mom about it, and so we are planning on doing a Netflix party, her and I, and watching them. However, she said my sister Alex might want to do a family Netflix party with a Christmas movie, so we might do that instead, and then the Sugar Rush the next day. So you guys will see later in my vlog what ends up happening. Some other things that we will probably include is that I hope to be able to share some not traditional American kind of traditions. So mince pies. I need to go to the World Market and get another package of them because we ate them while my mom was here, because at first when my dad said that she probably wouldn't be able to make it home before Christmas, she was really upset, and she loves mince pies. So I broke into the package that was meant to be for Vlogmas, and we ate them, and they did make her feel better. And then within a matter of hours, everything rushed crazy, and there was a date and a time and everything, and it all just fell into place. So I need more mince pies. However, I've also got a fruitcake. I do like fruitcake. I've never had a store-bought one though, so this will be a new experience for me. My mom has always made fruitcake, and she makes a delicious fruitcake that she babies during the whole like 2 months before Christmas. I don't know. They're delicious. So share some of that. Just other kind of things that I hope to be able to find and share. And then of course there's going to be a ton of crafting. My cross stitch projects, my advent calendars. I also have some Christmas placemats that I'm hoping to at least be able to piece together. So I might have a day where I spend working on that. However, I do have some batting nail that I got from my mom because she couldn't fit it in her luggage. And although I told her I would replace it when she came next. But some batting to put on the inside of those. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not actually sure I have enough of a backing fabric to do that. So, might need to go find some at the store. However, we are in lockdown, so I don't know if that's possible. Anyways, I also have a Christmas quilt that I barely cut a couple pieces out of that I hope to work on for a day or two and share that with you guys. Some Christmas project bags to sew, just things like that I hope to bring you guys on for the whole thing. And that concludes the Vlogmas section that I was going to talk about, which brings us to future. And you might think, well, you talked about Vlogmas, that's your plans for the next month. What more is there to talk about? And a couple things, to be honest. After the holiday season, at least this is where I'm leaning now, and I have been leaning this way for a month or two, I am going to be making some changes to this channel. First and foremost is that I am intending to separate my cross stitch videos and my yarn related videos. As you can tell, we are now an hour into this. I did not intend for it to be that long. I'd really hoped for a short update. That's what I told my mom. I said, I'm hoping for 20 minutes. Well, clearly that's not accurate. But when I first started this channel, all I really did was cross stitch with a few other hobbies thrown in. But they were like very minor. I am now spending a significant portion of time knitting. And I understand that's not everyone's cup of tea. They came here for cross stitch and now they're getting some knitting. So to address that and to hopefully make videos significantly shorter, I will be attempting to do cross stitch videos separate and knitting videos separate. And I will call the cross stitch ones Flosstube and I will call the knitting ones, I want to say Knitcast because they call them knitting podcasts. Why don't they call them Knitcast? So I might call it like Kate's Knitcast or something like that. So that is my biggest change for the channel. It's just, it becomes daunting when I pile it all around me for an update. And so I am hoping to do more frequent but shorter updates. So that is one. And then I'm also hoping that maybe then I'll be able to appeal to knitters who watch knitting podcasts and haven't discovered me or anything like that, because there's a significant portion of cross stitch that they're probably not interested in. So I am really hoping that separating the two crafts will just help improve the channel overall. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be making these, but I am hoping to just have them improved. I've been trying to do some editing, but to be honest, I am bleeding subscribers. Every time I post a video, I lose like almost 10. So I get it. I unsubscribe from people that I just have stopped watching. So I'm hoping that this will be a way to appeal to more people. It's not all about subscribers. I love the ones that I have, but it is like when you hit a plateau and then start to decrease, it's like, what can I do to improve this? And this is one way that I'm hoping to be able to do that. The second change I'll be making isn't really to the Flosstube itself, but I am going to be trying to go back to a rotation. It has been a number of years since I have done a rotation. I think since 2017, maybe even 2016. But recently, and I know that basically everyone knows who Blitz Stitch is, and I've been subscribed, I just haven't watched, but recently I decided to. I don't know why. I think I was looking for a specific tutorial and something from him came up. It might have been his parking method. And I went back and started watching some of his videos, including him talking about his rotation. And that really appealed to me, the style of rotation that he does. Or at least used to do. I'm not really up to date on current videos. This is from like 5 years ago. So, what he does is that when he has his rotation, and when he gets to the end of it, he can do a new start. I'm modifying this for myself. I have 180 something whips, so clearly I don't really need new starts. I need finishes. So what I will be doing is starting with like 2 projects. I think I am gonna do between 7 to 10 hours per a project rotation, and when I reach the end of a rotation, I will add a new whip into the rotation. So if I start with Serengeti, I will do that, let's say 10 hours to be even, but I'm actually leaning more towards 7. So say I do 7 hours. Then I would go to the next one on the rotation, which would be Christmas wreath. I mean, I have 180. You would think I could come up with something easier than that. But okay, so then I would do the 10 hours on that, or 7. And that would have been like the new one added to my rotation. And then I will come back, I will do 7 on Serengeti, 7 on Christmas wreath, and add in 7 on Cottage of the Month. Then I will go back to the beginning, 7 on Serengeti, 7 on Christmas wreath, 7 on Cottage of the Month, 7 on Window with a View by Heaven and Earth Design, so on and so forth. And then as projects are finished, they are knocked off the list. The one thing I haven't determined yet is whether I'm going to knock them off the list or if I'm going to put in a replacement that would be like kind of the equivalent. So if it's the Cottage of the Month one, when I finish one cottage, would I add in the next cottage, or would I just wait till I get to the end of the rotation and am able to add in something else? I'm thinking if I do that, then I'll be able to mix up kind of the flavor of the rotation, so it's not always like the same kind of order. Or like, would I add in Santa's Village, which is another series from Country Cottage that I haven't finished yet and started a long time ago. So I have a few things to try and decide. However, I am feeling really excited about getting back into rotation. I have a lot of challenge groups that I'm in. I'm so far behind on Stitchy Quest that I can almost always find a place to fit in a particular whip. So that shouldn't be a big deal. And so I'm really hoping that this particular method will get me to see some finishes and will also see some progress on things I really want to make some progress on. My mom always asks about Serengeti, and I always intend to work on it, but then like another challenge comes up and it just doesn't fit. So I'm hoping that this will work for me. And I used to really love a rotation. I really did. It gave me a great feeling of satisfaction to do that. So I'm hoping that that will reignite a bit of this. So that is one change. Before the end of the year, I intend on doing a whip parade. Goodness, there are a lot of whips. And I might have to break it down into several videos. I think I had to do that last time, and I'm probably going to have to do that this time. I will also be separating a video, like do a separate video for knitting, crochet, possibly quilts, but I don't really know that I have enough for quilts to do a video. But so I will be attempting to put up a full whip parade because it's been, I think, 2 years since I've done one. So it just kind of shows the state of affairs of my cross stitch. So be on the lookout for that. I'll probably film it after Christmas. The final thing with regards to cross stitching is WIPGO 2021. WIPGO 2022 was a complete failure for me. I think I completed one box. My goals were just way too extreme. So what I'm going to look to do this year is pick 24 projects and have my goal be 6 hours in that month. I think that 6 hours is totally manageable, and then I will get to do WIPGO. I'm thinking those 6 hours are going to be outside of the rotation, so just like maybe if I need a break from the rotation, just I'll be able to do that WIPGO. And since there's only 2 being drawn in a month, then I mean it's not so much time out of the rotation. So I think 6 hours on a project is a realistic and manageable goal. So that is my plan for WIPGO 2022. The final thing I wanted to show you and talk about is my planner for 2021. It finally came in the mail. I ordered it back in June or May, and that is the 2021 Tutor Diary. To be honest, I am not sure how I'm going to use this because I'm also feeling particularly called to my bullet journal. This journal is so beautiful. It starts off with some goals for 2021. Holidays for both the US and the UK, a calendar. This is what a monthly spread looks like. And this is what a weekly spread looks like. And it actually starts for this week. So, one thing I'm debating is using this kind of as my craft planner to track what I'm working on. So each day I could put the projects I worked on, stitches completed, that type of thing, a whole notes section for challenges or goals, and then this is a habit tracker. But I was thinking that if I use it as a rotation tracker, instead of days of the week, I can have those be the 7 hours and kind of use that for a rotation tracking. However, this is also a pretty nice and good size for in my purse and for just family planning stuff, household stuff. So I really don't know what to do. And the other reason why I'm kind of thinking about it being more household instead of crafts is at the end of each month, there is a monthly check-in. And that's where it is here. And it says, I'm proud of the following things I accomplished. That's one area. This area could have gone better. A big lesson I learned about myself this month was random thing to remember. I'm grateful for these people or events. Now, how have I changed or grown this month? Changes I want to make to get closer to my goal next month. And then surprising and delightful things that happened this month. I mean, I could use those as all craft goals instead of personal. So, I don't really know. And I would love some opinions on what you guys think I should do. One thing that's cool is there's quotes and events for things that happened. Like up here it says, January 25th, 1533, Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn marry in secret. And that's what's significant in this month. And then, January 1st, 1511, Catherine of Aragon gives birth to a son, Henry, Duke of Cornwall. it would be the only living son she would have, though he died after just 6 weeks. So there's little like factoids in here, and each week has a different one. And so that's really fun, and I like that. I do like learning about the Tudor era, so I was really happy to get this. I just don't know how I'm going to use it. In the back, there's a folder with a pocket. There is also stickers. And it's the same page of stickers. There's like 4 of them. So a meal plan, a wedding, just various things, decorative stickers. There's also a section of blank pages for notes. Then there's a lines pages section, and that's like a significant portion. I mean, it's not like just a couple of pages. There is a grid section, but the dots are just so dark. Hang on, I'm going to show you how big this whole note section is. Okay, so all of these pages here are note pages, and I think that's really cool. A lot of times they just include a couple pages, and that's never enough. So I really appreciate that about this. So I just wanted to share my Renaissance journal, or Tudor rather. And here's the back cover. And the front. And I love it. So I have to set up my bullet journal. I have to set up this one. I will be doing that in December. And I need to make a decision about how I'm going to utilize it. So that is all I have to talk about. That was significantly longer than I had expected or wanted. I did move my desk over here, and I'll be moving it back. But to better center with the lights, I am hoping to put another strand of lights on the other cube that's over there. But the electric socket is in between the two, so it wouldn't nicely go like that. So that's why I pushed the desk over to center it better. So yeah, that's all I really have to share. And I'm going to upload this without editing, so I hope you guys can forgive me for that. I will talk to you guys soon, like literally in a matter of hours. And probably like, I don't know, 15 hours or so, there might be another video. So hopefully the Vlogmas ones are real short. I found some Christmas music that's not within copyright, so they're fair use or whatever. And so I hope to be able to add some of that kind of stuff into the videos and just have fun with it. So that's all. And I will press the stop recording button now. So bye.